Meet Chad and Kim, founders, owners, and operators of Bee2gether Bikes and Bowlers. In 2011, Chad and Kim decided they wanted to create a business that would bring people together in a way that was fun, exciting, and different. And that's how Bee2gether Excursions was born. Today, hundreds of Winnipeggers have turned to Bee2gether Excursions to make their camping dreams a reality.
Get to Bee2gether Excursions by coming down McGillivray and turning at the signs between 3230 and the 3000 Fort White Business Park sign, ADM Storage. Head south on the gravel road until you get to the second sign, which says Container Loading Area. This spot is known as Gate 3. Once at the sign, enter ADM's storage compound through the large gate. Once through the gate, take your first right at the large gray rock, and you'll see our yellow and black kiosk on the right.
Chad or Kim will be waiting for you. It is important that you inform Chad or Kim of your ETA ahead of time. Now it's time to attach the BeeLux Scamp trailer to your car. You are required to have a 2-inch ball with the appropriate ball mount when you arrive for pickup. Slide the ball mount into the trailer hitch receiver tube. Secure the ball mount with the hitch pin, making sure that the ball mount is the correct height from the ground to the top of the ball. This will ensure that the trailer pulls parallel to the ground. The desired height from the ground to the top of the ball should be between 16 inches to 18 inches. Now it's time to attach the A-frame coupler to your 2-inch ball. It's helpful to first raise the camper up using the attached jack to a position that is 3 to 4 inches above the ball, and then reverse your car using your backup camera to the position where the ball is directly under the coupler. It's always preferred to have a spotter helping to guide you. Once the coupler and ball are lined up, use the key to remove the safety pin, raise the safety latch, lower the coupler on the ball by spinning the crank that is attached to the jack on the Scamp's A-frame, resecure the latch by closing it. You know you've got it in the right position if the latch catches securely under the lip. Put the safety pin back through the latch, then give the A-frame a lift to ensure that everything is secure. Chad is going to secure the safety chains to the hitch. You can wrap the chain around itself several times until you reach a position where the chains are 4 inches to 6 inches from the ground to the lowest hanging point on the chain. You never want the chains to be dragging on the ground, and you never want the chains so tight that there would be tension on them when making a turn. Lastly, you want to hook up your breakaway airline cable. This cable should be attached to the loop that your safety chains attach to on your hitch, and not to the chain. The purpose of this cable is for safety. Should the trailer become totally detached from your vehicle, the airline cable will separate from the breakaway switch box and will engage the brakes on your trailer. Notice there is an LED light here. It is recommended that you use this light if you have to make adjustments to any of the components that are attached to the A-frame when it is dark out. The switch for this light is located just inside the door on the bowler on the side wall nearest the tall cabinet. Next, connect the camper's electrical with your vehicle's wiring harness. The BeeLux camper has a 7-way trailer plug connector. This connector will run the marker lights, tail lights, and provide power for charging your marine battery, which is attached to your A-frame. If your vehicle is only equipped with a 4-way flat adapter, don't panic. Chad and Kim can let you borrow the proper adapter. Testing the signal lights is very important. The BeeLux Scamp camper comes with dual propane tanks. In order to operate these tanks, you must turn the knob on top of the tank all the way to the left or counterclockwise. To close the propane tanks, turn the knobs to the right. Never drive with the propane in the open position. These 2 vents are for the refrigerator. The fridge is 3-way, meaning it works off of 12-volt or battery, 120-volt or propane gas. To turn your fridge on, you will need the flathead screwdriver. There is one located in the cupboard to the left of the Bee2gether Excursions decal. Go to the fridge access panel and locate the 2 screws. To unlock and open the panel, you'll need to turn the screws 90 degrees so that the line that the screwdriver sits in is vertical. Once both screws are in the vertical positions, pull the vent cover off. The gray dial and the red push button on the left are for the propane gas operation. The dial in the middle is for the 120-volt ignition, which can be used if the camper is plugged in. The red switch on the right is for 12-volt, which means that the camper is running off of battery power only. To operate the fridge in the gas mode, you want to use the dial on the left. Push the dial down and rotate it from the off position to the high position. While holding the dial down, also push the red button 3 times. Pushing in the red button will cause the pilot light to ignite. Keep the fridge setting on high until it reaches your desired temperature. Once that happens, then you can turn the dial down to a lower setting. To turn off the fridge in the gas setting, simply turn the dial back to the off position. Turning the dial to the off position shuts off the flow of the propane to the fridge and thus turns off your fridge. The dial for 120-volt ignition is numbered 1 through 7. 1 being the warmest fridge temperature setting and 7 being the coldest temperature setting. To use the 120-volt middle setting, your trailer must be plugged into a source of power. Once it's plugged in, turn the green switch on and your fridge will begin working. The little line on the switch is on and the circle is off. To turn off the 120-volt operation mode, simply push the off switch. The 12-volt setting is really meant for emergency use only, as it will drain your battery very quickly if it's left in the on position. It's meant to just keep your fridge cool so you can get more propane. Running the fridge at a high temperature will kill a full battery in about 7 hours in the 12-volt setting. It's very important to remember that you can only use one of the 3 options at a time. Running 2 sources of power at a time will damage the fridge. Also, after you have made your fridge adjustments, put your cover back on by inserting the top plastic flaps into the fitted sections on the top of the encasement. Once the top is put in place, then push the bottom section in and turn the screws to the horizontal locked position. Give the panel a pull to ensure it's firmly attached. This is your city water connection and the place where you would hook up your clean water hose from the source of water located at your campsite. The hose for getting water from the faucet at the campsite is located inside the camper to the right of the tall cabinet underneath the bench seat in the storage compartment. When leaving the campsite, make sure all the water is removed from it before putting it back in its storage compartment. This is your hot water heater. It holds 4 gallons of water and is filled either by water that comes in from the city water connection or by manually filling the water up through the gravity fill fresh water port. Before you leave your campsite, you will need to use the ratchet set, which is located in the cupboard to the left of the excursion's decal inside the camper. The ratchet is labeled Water Heater Drain Tool. Bring the tool over to the access panel. Turn the flat knob 90 degrees and pull the access panel towards you. To drain the water, locate the screw. Put the socket over the screw and begin unscrewing it. Only unscrew it until water starts to drain. It's important to keep the screw in its place. The water will flow down the access panel door, which is fine. The water drains very slowly, so keep this in mind and leave yourself enough time to do this before leaving your campsite. After the water drains, use the ratchet to tighten the screw and return it to the cabinet. Note that you do not have to tighten the screw so much that the back of the screw touches the water heater. This is your 30 amp inlet. This is where you would pull your electric cable out from. The camper does come with the 30/15 adapter, so you can plug it into a standard 120 volt receptacle. This is the location of your gray water dump, which is the relatively clean water that comes from your sink. Always drain this before leaving your campsite. To ensure water flows out of the camper, first twist the cap off. To access the gray water drainage hose, you will also need to take the cap to the right off. It comes off by spinning it. Once you are ready to discard your gray water, push and twist the drainage hose over top of the gray water pipe, then pull the plunger handle. Once the gray water is released, remove the drainage hose, store it in its holder, and put the caps back on. The BeeLux Scamp comes with a 2-inch receiver, which is located at the back of the Scamp underneath the spare tire and is attached to the bumper. The bike rack we rent out with the Scamp is the Kuat NV 2.0. It allows you to transport 1 or 2 bikes with a combined weight of 154 pounds. The bike rack is available for rent for an added fee and will be attached for you at the time of pickup. Note that the only bike rack we allow to be used with our Scamp is the one that we rent. For instructions on how to use our bike rack, click on the link entitled Kuwait NV 2.0 Instruction Video. These are your leveling jacks. They are used to stabilize the camper once you have it parked in its desired location. The crank handle used to raise and lower the jacks is located in the storage compartment under the front seat just below the Bee2gether Excursions decal. To level the camper, simply put the socket end over the screw head and turn to lower the jack. Note, you never want to use these levels to raise the trailer off the ground. They are only meant for stabilizing the camper. You always want to ensure that they are fully in the upward position before driving away with the camper. This is your gravity fill fresh water port. It is used to fill the water holding tank on the camper. To fill the tank, you will need to get the water container that is stored in the tall cabinet which is inside the camper. The water container holds 23 liters or 6 gallons of water. It will take 2 of them to fill your 12-gallon freshwater holding tank and another 4 gallons to fill your water heater tank. Once the container is full, use your spout, which is located inside the orifice, and begin filling. You will know you've completely filled the fresh water holding tank when water begins coming out of the breather tube. Your fresh water holding tank is located inside the camper, under the storage seat compartment where the hose is stored. Before leaving your campsite, you must remember to open the petcock drain valve so that all the water from the holding tank drains out from the 12-gallon freshwater holding tank. You'll notice that you have 2 GFI outdoor receptacles right here under this lid. This is the access panel for your outdoor shower. To use the shower, you will need to turn the water pump on, and this switch is located inside the camper to the left of the sink. The left control is for hot water, and the right control is for cold water. Note, you do not need to use the camper's water pump if you are hooked up to the campsite's water. The Scamp camper comes with a 9-foot Fiamma awning. To use the awning, you'll need to get the adjustable crank arm, which is firmly clamped in the tall cupboard just inside the entry door of the camper. Notice the folded position of the handle. It must be stored in the same way. Take the hook side and insert it into the port located under the Fiamma decal and begin cranking the arm. Crank it out until you can successfully reach the leg. The legs pop out of the casing. Make sure the leg is completely popped out from its holder. And be sure, when you're swinging the leg out, that it does not come in contact with the side of the camper. Once the leg is fully pulled out from its holder, then swivel the leg down so that its end makes contact with the ground. You can adjust the height of your awning by loosening and tightening the wing nut. Do the same thing on the other side of the awning case. Once both legs are out, slowly turn the crank arm so the awning continues to come out. When it looks like the legs are going to fall over, slide the legs away from the camper and then let the awning out more. When the canvas reaches a point where it sags, then spin the crank arm in the opposite direction until the material is tight. Once the awning is put in its desired position, there are plastic clamps and ground anchors that can be used to further secure the legs to the ground. The clamps are located in the front compartment of the drawer nearest to the sink. When the awning is rolled back in, you want to make sure the awning goes into its case evenly. If it's crooked, adjust it with your hands until it straightens out. As the awning pulls in, then you should shorten the length of the legs by spinning the wing nut. When you are at the step just before lifting the legs up, you should ensure that the leg is as far up as it will go. Swing the leg up and pop it into the awning case, making sure that all parts of the leg are flush with the casing. You'll know it's in the right place when it successfully snaps into place. You will need to crank the awning all the way in until it will not retract anymore. You'll know you've got the awning in its fully retracted position when the red flat flange no longer protrudes out of the side. The Scamp BeeLux camper has 2 locks for the entry door. The top lock locks the handle, and the bottom lock turns the deadbolt and helps to ensure that the door is more securely locked. If you would like privacy when you are in the Scamp, you can push the red lever down, which locks the deadbolt and prevents anyone from being able to get inside the camper. Moving to the inside of the camper now. Notice you have a screen door that slides across and Venetian blind style window covers. To close the screen door, you have to pull the door from the right housing to the left. You do not need to pull the screen door hard to close it. To open it, you will need to push the silver lever. Once depressed, then slowly slide the screen door back into its housing. Be sure to slide the screen door into its housing slowly. There is an open door latch that keeps your door open so the wind doesn't suddenly close it. Your door can be open while opening the awning too, but be sure that the awning never rests on top of it when going through the opening and closing process. Notice there are 2 light switches right on the wall of the tall cabinet. This switch turns on the propane gas light, and the other switch closest to the door frame turns on the LED light right outside of the door on the door side of the camper. This is the fridge, and it has a traveling latch. In order to open the fridge, you must first release the traveling latch. This latch breaks frequently because people try to pull the fridge before unlocking it. The open position occurs when the latch is swiveled all the way over to the left. Once this occurs, the door on the fridge freely opens and closes. Notice the fridge has a magnetic strip all around it to keep it closed while driving. The latch should be in the far right position while traveling to ensure that the fridge door stays shut. This over here, on the left side of your sink, is where the 120 volt water heater switch, propane gas water heater switch, USB/12 volt charging station, thermostat for the furnace, and fresh water pump is. Before turning on any water heater switches, make sure the water tank has been filled. With the camper plugged in, flick the 120 volt water heater switch on or up. If you are not hooked up to electricity, you'll need to use the power from your 12 volt battery, and you will have to open your propane tank also. This switch right here, labeled as Suburban Water Heater, runs your 12 volt water heater. To turn on the 12 volt water heater, flick the switch down. When you flick the switch, the red light will turn on. That indicates that the water heater is not lit. The hot water tank takes about 10 seconds to run through its on cycle. When the lights shut off, that means the hot water heater is on and heating the water in the 4-gallon tank begins. Note that in order for the 12 volt water heater to work, you must have the propane turned to the open position. To heat the camper using the furnace, simply push the slider from the off to the heat position. Use the up and down arrows to raise and lower the temperature. The furnace fan is 12 volt but is fueled by propane. In order for the heater to work, you must have your propane tank open. Note that the furnace is only for heating up the camper. And to cool the camper, the air conditioning unit must be used. The AC unit is controlled by using the dials on the AC unit located in the ceiling. This switch here is for turning on the fresh water pump. You turn the pump on by flicking the switch up. When the pump is working, you will hear it. Flicking the switch down turns the pump off. In order to pull water from your fresh water tank, you must use the fresh water pump. This pump should be on when drawing water from the faucet and when using the outdoor shower. If you are using a garden hose and connecting to your city water hookup, you do not need to use the pump that is on your camper. All the lights in the camper are LED lights, and they are all on individual switches. Just flick the switch to turn them on and flick the switch to turn them off. They run off of 12 volt, but if the camper is plugged in, they will run off of 120 volts. In the ceiling of the Scamp camper is a max air fan. It's great for cooling the camper. You can either control it by using your remote control, which is stored in the storage cabinet to the left of the Excursions decal, or by using the dials attached to the fan. The max air fan has 10 speeds and also allows you to control the direction of the airflow. For this section of the orientation video, we will let a representative from Scamp teach you all about the rooftop AC unit.
The rooftop air conditioner operates only on 120 volts. There are two knobs on the air conditioner. One knob controls the temperature and the other knob controls the power and fan speed. There is an optional heat setting on the red dot. For just the fan, position the knob to the black side. If you want to run cooling, turn the knob toward the blue area. There are 3 fan settings, either low, medium, or high. A higher setting will result in a cooler temperature. The knob acts as a thermostat. The more you turn the knob into the blue area, the colder your AC will be set. There are also several vents to help control the airflow to various areas of your Scamp. There are down vents that can be opened or closed, and there are also 4 other vents, one on each side of the AC unit.
Underneath the dinette table is a voltmeter. The voltmeter monitors the voltage of the battery. 12.5 to 12.6 is a fully charged battery. Whenever the camper is plugged into a source of electricity, the battery will be charging. You'll know it's charging because there will be a green ring around the numbers. When the battery is charging, the voltmeter will jump up to 13 or 14. That's totally normal. This is your stove protector and countertop box. Feel free to use it as a counter for food prep, etc. But be sure to bring your own cutting board, as that is not its purpose. Underneath this is the 2-burner propane gas stove. Lighting the burners are simple. In order for the burners to light, the propane tank must be on. To light the burners, push down the knob and within seconds, touch your match or lighter to the burner where the propane gas is released. To light the other burner, push and turn its knob and light it. It is totally fine to have both burners going at the same time. There is a fire extinguisher located on the inside wall of the tall cabinet. The BeeLux Scamp camper has one double bed, which is 4 foot 4 inches wide and 6 foot 5 inches long. This bed converts into a large dinette table. To change your bed into a dinette table, lift the cushions that cover the table and place them in the upright positions on the bench seats. Next, lift and slide the small section of the table out of its slot and place it on the bench behind you. Lift the large table out and put its support bar into the 2 slots, then slide the 2 plates at the end of the table into its matching support sleeve. Drop the leg down by pressing the release button located on the shaft of the table leg. The other side of the camper has a 2 foot 6 inch wide by 5 foot 5 inch bed, which also converts into a small table. To set up this table, move the middle cushions off to the sides, lift the table, place the table pole in the holder on the back side of the table, stand the table up while lining up the table and pole over top of the table leg support, which is located on the floor. Lastly, put your backrest cushions in the upright positions on the benches. Both tables should never be in the upright positions while driving. This is the battery disconnect or house master switch. This switch is a way to ensure that all devices that draw energy from the battery are totally shut down. With this off, the battery will not drain. The horizontal position is off and the vertical position is on. There are two ways to charge the battery. In order to charge the battery, the house master switch must be in the on position while driving with the camper, or it will charge when the camper is plugged into an electrical site. Before leaving your campsite, always do a walk around. Ensure that propane tanks are off. Secure the refrigerator access panel and lock in place with the screw in the horizontal position. Drain the hot water tank. This is done by unscrewing the screw and releasing all of its water with the ratchet, extension, and socket that is in the storage compartment inside the cupboard of the Scamp. Drain the freshwater holding tank in the seat compartment by opening the petcock drain. Close the access panel for the outdoor shower. Close the awning and the fantastic fan. Ensure that both cranks, leveling crank and awning crank, are inside the camper in their respective storage compartments. Ensure all tables are down in the bed or travel position. And ensure that all doors on the cupboards, drawers, and upper cabinets are securely shut. The leveling jacks need to be cranked all the way up. Make sure that the A-frame jack is lifted by rotating the handle so it is raised about a foot off the ground. The deadbolt should be engaged and the handle should be locked for the entry door. The BeeLux Scamp camper must always be returned in the Bee2gether Excursions after hours return area. When you arrive at the storage compound, Chad and Kim won't be there to greet you. Use the camper moving dolly located in the corner under the return sign and bring an extra person with you to help push the camper into place. Once you inspected your Scamp camper, inform Chad or Kim of any issues. Its A-frame should be perpendicular to the gravel road that leads into ADM storage. After parking the BeeLux Scamp camper, take a picture of it and text it to Chad and Kim's cell phone. Always wait for a response from Chad or Kim before leaving.
Thank you for watching our BeeLux orientation video. We hope that it was very informative for you. I look forward to meeting you when you come and pick up your camper. And obviously, if after watching this video there's information that you need further explanation on, you can always email us, send us a text message, or call us, or we can deal with those items at the time when you come and pick up.